Life for All presents Daily Food Series Genesis, the Beginning. Title of Book 2, The Creation of Man by Pedro. Week 2, The Restoration of the Earth, the 5th day and the 6th day. Monday, the sun and the moon, instruments of God's government. Read with prayer. Then God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Genesis chapter 1, verse 16. The title of this week's message is The Restoration of the Earth, the 5th day and the 6th day. Returning to the 4th day of creation, as seen last week, we will come to understand that God created all things to exercise His rule on the earth. He created the 2 great lights, not only to separate light from darkness, but also to establish His lordship through them. Genesis chapter 1, verses 14 through 19. On the 5th day, He created the fish, capable of surviving in the sea and in the waters of death, without being contaminated by them. Verses 20 through 22. Likewise, He placed us in the world that gave us the necessary conditions so as not to be contaminated by it. On that day, He also created the birds, winged animals that overcame the earth's gravity. Among them stand out the eagle, which represents God, who is above all things. At the end of the 6th day, He created man, the center of His creation, according to His image and likeness, with the mission of multiplying, so that through him God might establish His government throughout the earth. Verses 26 through 28. In restoring His creation on earth, God mentions 2 great lights created to rule. This means God created the earth and did not leave it to its own devices. He definitely did not create it to be chaos. Isaiah 45:18. God created everything so that He could exercise His rule on earth. Therefore, the sun and moon were created not only to bring light and separate light from darkness, but to establish God's rule through them. This means that whether people like it or not, agree with it or not, they are still subject to this government, whether it is the sun during the day or the moon at night. Even if we disagree with the times God has set for carrying out our daily activities, we are still subject to the government of the sun and moon. For example, the sun rises first in the easternmost part of Brazil. Even if someone is tired and wants to sleep a little longer, he cannot, because the bright sun signals that it is time to wake up. Do you see? We are subject to the government established by God. God created the lights on the 4th day to serve as signs for the seasons, days, and years. You are also subject to the seasons, even though in some parts of Brazil, there is not as much distinction between one season and another, as we are in a more tropical region. The 4 seasons are clearly distinguished in the northern and southern latitudes. Moreover, we are still subject to the marking of the days. Each day is marked by the sun and the moon. For example, we have the direction of the sun as a reference. When traveling on a road, if it is morning and the sun rises on your right, you are going north. If the sun rises on your left, you are going south. The sun and the moon are so powerful that some ancient pagan cultures worship them as gods. However, the account of creation shows that it is God, the Creator, who truly rules. In other words, it is God who rules the heavenly bodies and imposes His government over the inhabitants of the earth by providing heat, energy, and light. These celestial bodies also mark the seasons, days, and years, in addition to serving as signs to guide living beings on earth. Did you know that the bees orient themselves by the sun? It influences the climate and various factors on the planet, such as ocean and air currents. There is no denying that there is a government established by God and exercised by these lights. Praise the Lord.